Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are now listening to the Apocalyptic Aftermath channel. I am your host, the Apocalyptic Aftermath, also known as Seth, also known as Lucifer, also known as King the Conqueror. Yes, sir, Bob. If it's your first time joining my channel, you are welcome. What we do over here is we create gods, entities of mass power, motivational speeches. We delve into the Mysterium Arcanum on this channel, and we hope that you come back out stronger and more steadfast than when you first entered this channel. And if I did my job, please leave a subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment. Specifically a like and a subscribe, because it helps me, it helps my channel in the algorithm so that it shows up on other people's channel and whatnot and all that good stuff. So we are at an impasse, right? We're dealing with technomancy right now. I'm into technomancy right now. It's very relevant. I feel like right now it's very relevant, and it's going to become more and more relevant as time goes along. Before we start the video, I would like to say thank you to everybody that left a comment or that made a video talking about radiosonics or frequencies. I appreciate it. I like it a lot because, like I said, me myself, I am not entirely well versed in radiosonics. I do agree with sound. I know about frequencies and sound, but is it really magic? I think it's more science than magic, to be quite honest. Because even Hollywood is using sound as a new way of entertaining people, right? So right now you can go see certain movies, and it's the sound that's the attraction, right? Because the sound, they're tweaking frequencies to make you feel fear or suspense, or they trigger emotions within you with the sound. And it's an ultrasound that's in the background. It's in the speakers. It's not necessarily in the movie. Well, it's in the movie, but it's the speaker that's doing it. You're listening to the movie, but you're not going to see the sound, or you're not going to necessarily pay attention to the sound, but it's in the background of all the other sounds, and it makes you feel a certain way. So they're already experimenting on that. I know it's a very real thing. I'm aware of it, like I said, and I meant no disrespect. Even with the fart sound joke, that's actually a real thing that some students have studied. It was a whole meme from at least 10 years ago. So sound and frequency are a relevant thing, but at the same time you have to understand these are all part of the same wave. It's all part of the electromagnetic wave field, right? So when you understand that all those things are related to the electromagnetic field, you understand that it's all the same thing. Vibration, and frequencies. A frequency is just a vibration. It's just a different type of vibration, vibratory wavelength. That's all it is. It's all current. It's all air. It's all oxygen. It's all gases. It's all atoms moving around. Because atoms create gases. So I feel like it's more relative to science than magic. When we're talking about magic, we're talking about creating things out of thin air. We're talking about creating things out of thin air. We're talking about manifesting things that are not necessarily supposed to be there at this present time and moment, right? But like I said, no disrespect. I love you guys' answer. I love your guys, y'all's gumption on this one here. But my question is, why is this the only thing that got you guys started? Like, I be asking a lot of questions to you guys, and you guys don't always answer to the things, man. So, anyways, um, but I understand radiosonics has to be a little bit popular right now, especially since we're into the alligato sounds, alciato, whatever sounds and all that, and the frequencies and all that. So we're a lot of people. The community is into that sort of stuff. I don't know how many people actually use radiosonics. I don't know how many of you actually are prone to delve deeper into radiosonics. I don't know that, but I respect it. It's your choice. I'm gonna try it too. I do use binaural beats uh, to relax and remove anxiety, and sometimes even to fight off evil spirits. Negative energy. When there's too much negative energy around me, I do use ambient sounds or frequencies, certain notes, certain tones, in order to cleanse my workspace, if for lack of better terms, of like there is, you know. Um, so yeah, a perfect response. I love your guys' energy. That was great. Thank you for letting me know. Like I said, I don't mean no offense by it. It's just that me personally, as a more ritualistic practitioner of magic, I'm more prone to use spirits and the astral realm and things of that matter in order to enact change. Because at the end of the day, just the frequency, it's gonna take more than just the frequency, and you guys already know that. You guys both, whoever is out there using radiosonics, is because you use both, right? You use spirits and you use your box or whatever item or artifact that you use in order to create the radiosonic sounds. Um, I understand that too. Um, but there's no but yes, there is a but on the subject of technomancy, so um I don't know, I feel like the internet answered me the other day when it said I don't practice. Somebody said I don't know how to do technomancy. um I don't know if that's a collective message or that's it's just that particular person, but I'm not surprised if collectively y'all feel like y'all don't know how to do technomancy, because even me, even though my connection to technomancy is quite powerful and very strong, um, even me, I'm having some trouble finding information about technomancy, which is peculiar because I thought that there was like a ton of information about it, but there's not a lot of information about it. It's not just technomancy that there's information on geomancy. There's information on geomancy because I feel like people feel like geomancy is more real. So there's a lot of content on geomancy. There's not a lot of content on um, what's it called, chronomancy, the manipulation of time, which is very weird because the Illuminati kind of know how to manipulate time. They're into chronomancy. The Illuminati is into very, very into chronomancy. So I'm surprised that there's not more information out there about chronomancy. It's very little. It's very little. It's very minuscule. And technomancy, it's not as minuscule as chronomancy. There's still some information that you can find, but it's not very. The sauce is not stressed out. It's not very complete. There's no compendium. There's no indexes. There's nothing, right? So anybody that practices technomancy has to figure things out on his own. And I guess the same for chronomancy too. I'm very interested in chronomancy. I hope one day I'll be able to do that, but unfortunately, I think the kind of the kind of chronomancy that we have access to nowadays takes a lot of effort from a lot of people. So it's normal for a group like the Illuminati to be able to do chronomancy because they already have a lot of resources. Because you have to manipulate things, you have to manipulate energies, in order to manipulate time, right? So, and a single individual to be able to manipulate time itself, it would take a tremendous amount of energy inside of one particular individual in order to be able to manipulate time, right? So for right now, I guess we're gonna stay with technomancy, because at the end of the day, I'm feeling like, as I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole of technomancy, I'm going to probably figure out the secrets of chronomancy too. Because time was created by technology, right? And that's the thing with technomancy. Technomancy touches everything, and especially if you live in a civilization, chronomancy is especially. I might be wrong. I might be, because I don't think, because that's the thing. I believe that technomancy is one of those Cryptara. My goddess Cryptara might be one of those entities that have existed before time, or from time immemorial, right? Let's put it that way. So I'm not gonna say that chromancy was before God, or or something like that. But I feel like you cannot. Well, the thing about Cryptara is that you cannot create without technology, right? And as soon as you create, you're creating a form of technology, right? So Cryptara is one of those goddesses that is intertwined with reality, with all that is, right? With the fabric of reality. And it can't be removed from the fabric of reality. There's some entities, there's some gods that if you would remove them from, let's say, the pantheon, or if you would remove them from reality, it would cause complete chaos, right? You would have we wouldn't be walking on two legs, we'd be walking on four legs, and things like we'd have like five eyes, or there'd be a lot of unsymmetrical events happening to the human body and nature itself. We'd live in a very, very different world. So all these ideas all these ideals, right, create and encompasses everything together. So there's a lot of, it's like there's people, it's like working at an office, right? There's an important person on each floor, right? On each floor, even at the bottom floor, the bottom, from the bottom to the top floor, there's somebody important on each one of those stages, each one of those floors. And if you remove one of those important people, the whole thing collapses, right? So Cryptara, to me Cryptara, and from what I can decipher, from what I can understand, if I understand technology the way that I'm supposed to understand technology, you have to understand that basically you could, even if you lived in prehistoric time, you would still be able to do technomancy, right? Because the idea of technology predates time. It predates, it's not a thing about time, it's a thing about creation, right? It's technomancy is for inventors, right? If you're an inventor, like you could say Leonardo da Vinci might have been a technomancer, for all we know. Leonardo da Vinci could have been a technomancer. He invented a lot of stuff. His mind is made for inventing. Nikola Tesla, obviously a technomancer. He dealt with electricity. He was into Wi-Fi before Wi-Fi even existed. He had the idea. Nikola Tesla had the idea of Wi-Fi before Wi-Fi even existed, and that's we're talking about 100, 200 years ago, right? So he was already thinking about linking devices together wirelessly. He was already thinking about that, and he was like, we're talking about the 1600s, right? That's like 300, 400 years ago, or some shit like that. It was Nikola Tesla's old as fuck. So well, maybe not 300 years, but the 200, at least 200. I think. I mean, I don't know. I have his book here somewhere. I don't remember when he was born, but I think it's like 1600 or some shit. So it's probably like 300 years. Anyway, so so yeah, man. Techno, and this is the reason why my connection. This is the reason why I should spit that out. I shouldn't swallow that. Anyway, fuck it. Too late. That's why my connection to Cryptara is so powerful. Give me a second here, guys. I need to clear my throat. Had some nasal congestion here. That's why my voice sounds a little bit. I'm talking through my nose a little bit. So this is why my connection to Cryptara is so potent and so strong, because I already have. I don't see technomancy as something that is just, oh, it's just today I can use it because today there's a bunch of technology, so now I can use it. No, I don't see it that way. I'm seeing it in the way that any era or any time that I exist, there was invention. Even the prehistoric age, we invented the wheel in the prehistoric age. Whoever invented the wheel in the prehistoric age could be prone to becoming a technomancer if he would have chosen to, or if he was chosen to do that, or something like that, because he was inventing, he was thinking of ideas, he was manipulating nature to bend to its will in order to use it as a tool in order to progress, for the betterment of himself or the people that are around him. Which is mostly one of the reasons why you should get into spirituality or magic, is always to benefit yourself and benefit mankind. If you're not trying to benefit mankind or benefit yourself, then you're not doing much of anything, right? You just, because a lot of people practice meditation, and I need to meditate more too. But a lot of people practice meditation and they just do breathing techniques without any mantras. How can you meditate without a mantra? If you're meditating without a mantra, then you're just clearing your mind, right? But if you're looking for results in your personal life, like, because a lot of people, they be like, man, I meditate, my life is like this, my life is like, that's because they repeat mantras. You need words of power. If you're just meditating and you're practicing your breathing technique and you're meditating, you're closing your eyes and you take your deep breaths and all that, that's just the breathing technique. Yeah, you'll feel better. Even your body is going to feel beneficial effects of practicing your breathing. Better circulation. You'll have better blood flow and circulation, and a clearer mind. So meditation is very good. Breathing practices is very good. But also, if you add a mantra, if you do all of those, and at the end you add a mantra in order to enact things, because when you're meditating, you're by yourself, you're meditating, you're in an enclosed environment, there's nobody around you, and you're meditating, and like well, the best case scenario is to meditate where there's nobody around, right? In a dimly lit room, because you want to close your eyes and you don't want the light to hit your eyes, because then it's gonna blind you, and you might miss messages, right? You might block yourself from entering the astral realm. You might not be able to hallucinate what you're supposed to hallucinate, because the brain it's not too shabby. The brain is not too shabby. So sometimes you can meditate and your brain is gonna do all of the work. So it's not even that there's a spirit or It's your brain that's like rearranging the information, and you're seeing it in shapes and forms and faces and pictures and people and memories. Sometimes the brain does all the work, and it doesn't. You don't even need a spirit to stuff like that. But that comes with practice. And like I said, that comes with practice. And then you have to be in a dimly lit room. Because you don't want the light to hit you in your eyes while you're meditating, because it might get in the way of what you're supposed to see, or how much concentration. Because your brain is overworked. It's easy to make the brain work. It's easy to make the brain work, and it's easy to distract a person's mind, right? Just the fact that there's a light here, my brain and my subconscious is still concentrated on that light. My subconscious knows that there's a light open, right? And so I'm doing two things at the same time. I'm concentrating on the light, and I'm meditating also at the same time. But I really want to meditate, and I don't want to think about the light. I want all of my focus, all of my attention on my meditation practice, so I have to close the light. So it's better to meditate in a dimly lit room by yourself and all that, and your breathing techniques, and then you add a mantra. And the reason why you add a mantra is because, well, at the end of it all, we're talking about sound, we're talking about like mirrors and everything. Life is a mirror and all that. You talk about sound, you say these words, and it'll be reflected. You're reflecting what you want. Even when you speak, it's still a mirror, right? Words can be mirrored, right? We're talking about sound. The sounds are supposed to bounce off mirrors, right? Well, maybe that's a good thing, right? Maybe that's a good thing. And at the same time, it's either the sound is bouncing back at you, which is what you want, when you're doing mantras, or the sound is actually going through the mirror, right? And in the case of meditation and manifestation, I would say that the sound is going through the mirror, because you can control the mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, right? This is a thing that you have to remember. This is a very important thing. So mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. When you say this, right, you are accepting that you are capable of changing the reflection of the mirror. So you might look like this, but on the mirror, you can make the mirror look like something else. I could be in reality, I'm dressed like this. In reality, I got a tank top on, right? But in the mirror, I could recite a mantra, and the mantra is, I'm a fully closed businessman all day, every day. I'm a fully closed businessman all day, every day. So when I say these words, and my intention, what's in the mirror is not a guy in a tank top. It's a guy in a suit, right? It's a business-looking guy in a suit, right? And that, I'm reflecting that at me. And the reason why I'm doing that is because later on, chronomancy, later on, I want to look like that. I don't want to be the guy in the tank top. I want to be a guy that in a suit looking like a businessman, right? And that's going to eventually happen, because that's the mantra that you're repeating yourself, right? So we're talking about, so sound is still important. We're still talking about sound here. Sound is still important, because like I said, if you're just practicing your breathing techniques, you might have some physical benefits, and you can manifest using your body. So the better you treat your body, the more, if you, because I did a video about this flex metallo energy, right? I call this the flex metallo effect. Flex metallo is a comic book. I think it's created by DC Comics. I don't remember, but I think it's a subsidiary company to DC Comics. I think it's actually like Dark Horse Comics or something like that. So, those guys made a comic book, and the guy whenever he flexes his muscle, he manifests things. He's like a genie. He's like a genie, but he uses his muscles to manifest things, right? So I made a whole thing about it. It was paid content. So right now I'm actually telling you paid content here. But in this video, I explained that you can, if you treat yourself good and you already are in the notions of manifestation and laws of attraction and all that, right? So you're already in those. Give me a second. Sorry about that. It was super annoying. It's a good thing I spit like a big glob or something. I didn't even think it was that big. So anyway, so we are in the effect of manifesting laws of attraction and everything. So your mind is you have to have an intent, because you can flex muscles all day. It's not gonna change shit. You can flex muscles all day, but it's all in your mind. Everything's happening in your head. Yes, you're flexing muscles, but you have to put your intention into the flexing of the muscle, right? So before you go train, what are you training for, right? Some people train because I just want to look bigger. But what if, because everybody thinks training has something to do with getting bigger, right? Which it does. Obviously, that's a no-brainer. That's a duh. But what if you can do more? What if I told you you can do magic? You can do gym magic. I love gym magic. Gym magic is awesome because I love women, right? So, gym magic is cool, bro. Like, so you could do gym magic. You can manifest ladies, which is obviously the easiest thing to manifest when you're training, obviously, because there's some ladies there, but even though there's some ladies there, you might strike out, and that's why it's magic, because one day it works and the other day it doesn't, and shit like that. So but it's all in your intention. So before you go outside, you're like, okay, when you wake up in the morning, I'm like, I'm training to get bigger. Well, you're gonna manifest getting bigger. But what if you go to the gym and you're not thinking about getting bigger? What if you go to the gym and you're thinking about like a 200K deal with, I don't know, some fucking power drink energy business company, right? So you got a 200K deal with some fucking company, right? Some fucking sponsorship, right? You're thinking about a 200K sponsorship. So before going to the gym, you think about, instead of thinking about getting bigger, your intention, you send your intention into closing this 200K deal, right? So today I'm gonna get this deal. So you wake up in the morning, your intention is, I'm getting this deal. So you're not thinking about getting bigger. But the thing is, you're going to the gym, and you have to understand that movement, moving is also, it's dangerous. Moving is dangerous, man. So because that's the thing. When you're a god, all of your movements are incredibly important, right? You got to watch what you do, right? All of your movement is important. When you're a god, everything is important, right? So that when you're a god, it's better to not move than to move, right? Because if you move, you might destroy something. You might kick somebody's sandcastle and you didn't do it on purpose, right? You didn't even mean to kick the sandcastle. You just kicked it because you was moving, and you didn't notice that you was a god, or you don't want to believe that you're a god. So therefore, you keep moving around doing shit, and stuff keep breaking, and maybe sometimes it adds, you're like, ha ha, and then sometimes like, oh damn, that's not what I wanted to do, because you keep moving nonchalantly. You're moving nonchalantly. You're not assessing your own power, and when you're not assessing your own power, the person that does not want to assess his own power is more dangerous than the person that assesses his own power, because this person will do things unintentionally, and it could result in devastating results. Sometimes, not all the time, right? So now you're like intentionally going to manifest this sponsorship deal. So you wake up in the morning, I'm like, I'm gonna get this sponsorship. So you're going to the gym, and now you're moving. I do this, there's a vibration, right? If I do this, there's a vibration, right? I'm sending ripples in the air, in the waves. It's called current. Like there's wind. I did this, so now there's a undulation of oxygen and air that's gonna go that way, right? So there's a vibration, right? And then you have to understand that there's your own personal, there's your plasmic energy, right? There's your internal plasmic energy. That's your body heat, right? So now you're going to the gym, you're raising your body heat. Your body's getting warmer. And what happens when plasmic energy meets current? Right, you get electricity. So, but that electricity, you're not gonna rain down thunder and storm. You know, you're not gonna rain down thunder. Pause. You're not gonna rain down thunder, but you're going to create a magnetic field. Right, this magnetic field is going to excite the air around you. It's going to so now you're connected to reality, right? So now your body is now in tuned and reacting to its environment. It's now connected to its environment. It's you're not necessarily causing change at that point, but you're definitely creating energy, right? You're definitely amplifying your energy. So now you connect this to vibrations, right? So your mind, your thoughts are vibration, your movement are vibration. So the way you move is vibrating. And especially if you're going to the gym, your body's warmed up, your plasmic energy is high, your electromagnetic field is activated, which it's always activated, but the warmer, the more plasmic energy you harness. You know, let's say you're working out for 5-10 minutes and you already broke a sweat, then your body heat is up, right? And the more body heat you have, because the way that your internal organism functions is that there's chemical reaction, and those chemical reaction will create miniature nano miniature microscopic explosions, and those explosions are also referred to plasmic energy, right? But that's where the electricity comes from. That's why if I rub my hand on a rug and then I touch you, you're gonna get zapped. You know, it's because of the heat and the heat and the current mixes together and creates electricity. So we're still in Nikola Tesla, we're still in sounds, you know, we're still in the same era. We're not lost. If it's your first time joining my channel, welcome. Please subscribe, leave a like if you like what you hear. We make videos regularly, not every day, but we make videos like this on a regular, consistent basis. So, and please leave a like, subscribe to my channel, leave a like, because it's going to help me achieve more views and things like that and whatnot. So let's go back to what we were saying. All right. So now you're going to the gym with the intention of a sponsorship, not just to get big, right? You're not thinking about getting big. You're thinking about a sponsorship. So now you're attracting this sponsorship towards you, right? And you're using it by doing gym. You're not using it by doing laws of attraction. You're not using it by doing magic, right? You're not a wizard, right? You're not a warlock. You're not out here cursing people. You're not manipulating people's minds into making them sign the deal. Because I know a lot of you sorcerers like to do that. Go on with your bad self. I ain't dissing. I'm just saying, you know. But this is another form. This is another way that you can do it. Or this is another thing you can add to your already pre-existing rituals, plural, that you already have or you're already doing during the day. You know, some people use food. Some people manifest with food, cooking. You can manifest while cooking, man. You can cooking is a nice way to manifest. Some people manifest using cooking, man. Some people manifest using gym, right? And you can manifest whatever you want, right? So flex metallo, I call that flex metallo energy. That's my thing, right? I'm going to post it back up. It's still there. The website is still there. I'm going to post it back up. I'm going to make more videos, and whatever. Eventually, I don't know. The Flash video, I'm not going to do that one by myself. I'm going to wait until I have help from somebody that's as knowledgeable as I am, or at least knows a lot about Flash before doing it. Because that video is going to be 2 hours, and it has to be a documentary. And it can't be just 1 hour. It has to be a documentary. So the Flash Energy video is going to be a lot of hard work. And I haven't started yet. And my computer, my poor baby, can't handle the workload that I put on it. And then not only that, but I'm still have to deal with the Illuminati hounding me and sending me to fucking prison and fucking hospital every 2 fucking weeks. So I have to. I'm walking on unstable grounds here a little bit, But it's all for you. I fight for users, just like Tron, just like the 1982 movie Tron, bro. I fight for users, man. I'm Tron. Or call me Zero. I'm that guy, man. I do this for y'all. I do this for myself too, but I do this for you guys too. It's not just for entertainment purposes. I don't find this entertaining because these guys are actually out to fucking get me. And but this is for you guys, and I don't mind giving out all this information right now for free because I don't know when these guys are gonna get all their fucking testicular fortitude together and finally decide to snipe me while I'm walking down the street, man. So we gotta let this information come out. Of course, there's a lot of things I don't say, and I don't believe that I'm gonna die. I believe that I'm immortal and I'm invincible. But I'm not the type of person that's gonna tempt fate. So I might as well tell you some very important things. But of course, there are some things I keep to myself, like technomancy. I'm keeping that to myself. If it keeps me alive, I'm gonna keep it for myself. If it keeps me alive for right now, I'll keep it for myself. If it makes me immortal, I'm going to keep it for myself. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to teach anybody how to do it. But my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Damn right, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I have to charge. So, pause. So okay, guys. I don't know. I saw some shit earlier. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard Jim Jones was on OnlyFans, munching on some sausage. Pause. And for $1 million. I don't know if that shit true or not. I don't know if that shit true or not. That shit weird. But it's fucked up, man. Yo. So, but I told you guys, Jim Jones kind of weird. And that's the other thing too. Me, man, Terrence Howard, bruh. Like, the reason why I snapped and I was like, yo, free Puffy is because of Terrence Howard. When I saw that Terrence Howard made a video the other day talking about Puff Daddy and Justin Bieber, no offense, Justin Bieber, we're gonna fix this issue some way somehow, But I know Terrence Howard be lying like a motherfucker. I know that nigga a straight up liar, like the king of lies. You know what I mean? He's not the prince of lies. He's the king of lies. So when I saw Terrence Howard talking shit about Puffy, I'm like, oh hell no, okay, this some bullshit, bro. Like this, this some bullshit, man. And I'm not saying Puffy didn't do it, because everybody believe Diddy did it, right? The diddler. They don't call him the diddler for no reason. There's something going on. But even if he's the diddler, was this arrest just? That's the question. And now I feel like it's not, bro. And the worst part is, I thought it was because of me. You know, because I be doing that shit to the Illuminati all the time. I be doing that shit like that to the Illuminati all the time. Shit, man. There's even other people. Like trying to take my shit, like trying to take my style and be like, you know, everything that's going on is because of me. No, nigga. No, it's because of me. Okay. Which I have proven a multitude of times. And if you haven't seen that yet, then pay attention, because I'm not done yet. I still got a few tricks. I still have a few tricks up my sleeve. You know what I mean? This is a magic show, all right. And I have more than one rabbit in this hat. You know. So, anyways, so yeah, man, that's crazy. If y'all know the truth about that Jim, if it's a rumor and shit like that, but the thing is, it came from a very reliable source. That's the only issue with this story is it came from a very reliable source. So a very reliable source. It's kind of crazy if Jim Jones is out here munching on them Funyuns for some moolah, you know what I mean? So that's just crazy as hell, man. That shit is crazy as hell. So, but I already told y'all, man, Jim Jones be weird, man. He's a weird dude, man, and they're all weird, and the worst part is, everybody thinks that all of y'all sitting in your houses, sitting there thinking, I'm not important enough for somebody to take notice of me. Well, bro, nigga, I'm not more important than you, bro. Well, yes, I am. But let me patronize you for a second, right? Because sometimes it's good to be down to earth a little bit. You know what I mean? So let me patronize you for a second. Right, we're the same. You know, I'm flesh and blood, you're flesh and blood, we're the same. Right? Like, I'm not more special than you. Yes, I am, but I'm not at the same time, right? Like, what I'm trying to say is, you know, you sitting there and you think that these people got better things to do than to copy you or to listen to what you're saying, to listen to your conversation. All that shit is fake. The spotlight is on you. It's not on them, bro. The spotlight is on you. Without you, there is no them. And that's the fucked up part about all this, right? Like, it's like, without people, there would be nothing. Because at the end of the day, Hollywood is a mirror of life, right? You can see Hollywood. You can see Hollywood as that. Movies mirrors life. Of course, it's exaggerated. It's exaggerated and accelerated, even, right? It's like things that happen, but at a faster pace. You know, like, basically, when you watch an action movie, the action movie could be real. Like Bruce fucking Willis, fucking John McClane, right? John McClane could be a real person, and probably the real John McClane that existed in real life probably did all that shit that you saw in the movie. But the difference between a movie and real life is that the real John McClane did that shit in a series of time, right? Whether it was a month, a week, a year, right? 2 years, 5 years, it don't matter. Let's say he did all that shit, but the movie is going to condense this man's life story in 1 hour. Right? Because the thing about the movie is that movies reflect life, but you have to understand that in life you start from year 1 and die in year 199, 80, 75, 70, 60, whatever, right? That's the end of the story. So in the movie, you have to understand that you have to put a beginning and an end. So whatever you're going to put in between the beginning and the end has to be interesting, right? And also, you have to understand that this is a movie. So now the beginning starts at 1 second and ends at 95 minutes, 145 minutes, 120 minutes, right? So it's a mirror of life, but faster, right? So this is the ceremony, right? You have to understand that if you're MC, right? You have to understand the ceremony. You have to understand the ritual, right? So this is like an invocation, right? Like, so when you're watching the movie, is the invocation. The movie is an invocation of spirits that dwell within this realm. Sometimes not. When we're talking about science fiction and whatnot, sometimes not, but it's still a story and it's still reflective. Either morally, either there's a moral standpoint that, like, let's say Elysium, right? Elysium has a moral standpoint. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer, yada yada yada, blah blah blah, right? Whatever. Passive aggressive poorness. I call movies like that passive aggressive brokenness, bro. Like, it's passive aggressive brokenness, bro. Like, because you could be rich if you wanted to. You just sit there being angry at rich people because they're rich. Why don't you try getting rich? Maybe you'll like it. You know what I mean? Who knows? I'm just saying. So I feel like movies like that are passive aggressive paraphernalia of propaganda against liberal capitalists, right? Okay, which I am. Okay, yeah, I said it. Anyway, so let's get back to what we were saying. So now we're reflecting life in 1 hour. So we're reflecting 100 years in 1 hour. Right, so that is no matter what it is, even if it's a comedic, romantic movie, you have to understand that you're focusing 100 years of existence in 1 hour, right? So that's why people love movies, right? That's why people think movies are amazing. That's why people love them. That's why I love movies, because I understand the ceremony, I understand the ritual, I know what's going on, I see it. Right, I understand it and I see it, right? But not everybody understand that, and it's not important for everybody to understand that anyways, right? But like I said, so when we're talking about Terrence Howard and fucking Jim Jones and all that shit, you have to understand, like, they're reflecting you back at you also, in some way, shape, or form. Of course, they use it for more nefarious, more defiant, devious, and nefarious purposes, of course. But fact still remains that they're still working within the boundaries of the laws of physics a little bit, or the laws of magic, if you want to call it that. I don't know. Which one you want to put first, depending on the people, depending on your perception. But they're still following the rules, because then movies would be 10 hours long, or it would be like 10 years long, like the Avengers, right? The Avengers was like 10 years long. It's not actually 10 years long, but it came out. All the movies came out in a succession of 10 years. So, but the actual movies, it's about like 20 hours, I think. It's about 20 hours. It's about 20 hours of movie. So most people sit there and they think they're not important and nobody's listening to them and nobody sees them. But the government only sees you. They're not surveying, they're not spying and keeping tabs on celebrities. They're looking at you. You're the one that we're looking at, like, you're the one that we're like intruding, and getting into your business. Like, you're the one being like watched by, the government. It's not the celebrity, it's you. So the celebrities just, redo what you did, but in a faster way, So anyway, so the reason I'm saying all this is because, like, we tend to be like, well, who cares that he's sucking dick, or or who cares that Terrence Howard is a liar? No, it's actually pretty fucking important. You know, it's actually pretty important because you don't know what you lost at that point. When you figure out, when you are aware, when you frequent a specific area or country or facility, right? And then you end up finding out that there's some kind of injustice or some kind of corruption within that area. You know, you're gonna start asking yourself questions. It's absolutely normal for you to start asking yourself questions, man. You know, and I think only a fool, only a bumbling idiot would not ask himself questions about the validity of the area that he's in, right? Because I did not know that this was happening before I got before the attention towards it was given to me. You know, I was unaware that these things were happening, you know, and now it's only normal that I ask myself questions, you know. So now you got like actors that are imitating or acting like people, or they're trying to distract you from specific individuals. Why is that? You know, because that individual probably holds a secret because that individual probably knows something that other people don't, or something like that, bro. There's a reason. I mean, you're not just gonna, you don't, nobody, like, the thing about this matrix, this corrupted matrix, right? It's not the matrix that's corrupted. There's nothing wrong with the matrix. It's just that people that are smarter than other people, that's what's going on, right? Like there's nothing wrong with the matrix. It's just that the Illuminati is more clever than the everyday average bear, right? No pun intended, no offense meant. No compliments intended, no offense meant. But let's just face facts. Let's just face facts, bro. At the end of the day, the Illuminati is more clever than the regular masses. They're more clever than the regular. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they're evil, stupid, blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, they're more clever. They are capable of doing things that everyday people have no idea that you can do. End of story. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. It's true. You know, so when you're sitting there and you're watching movies, you're watching these celebrities and they're doing things, they're doing interviews, they're saying stuff, and most of the time it's not even them that wanted to say the thing, it's somebody else that told them to say it. So, you know, and there's a lot of things like that's going on, and there's a lot of magic behind it. There's a lot of magic behind it. There's a lot of magic behind it. You know, there's a lot of spiritual aspects behind it, because you know, they're taking other people's persona, or they're talking about other people's persona, or they're even sometimes like in my case, they want to change people's perception of my persona, right? Because I attack them, so therefore they attack me. So therefore there's slander, there's this, there's that. So you're trying to change people's perception. You're not shooting at me, you're not killing me, you're not beating me up. No, you're trying to change people's minds about me. That's magic. That's magic, because you're not physically doing anything, right? You're just using words. You're using word of mouth, using words. So you're trying to change people's perception about me. You're trying to like, you know, because you could do it physically. You could do it physically, but you don't. So why do you not do that? Because you rather use magic, right? And there's a reason why you rather use magic, right? Because doing things like that, you can destroy a person's soul. And these guys are very evil. You have to understand, these guys are very evil, so they don't mind. Like, a person like me, the Illuminati have to respect me in some way, shape, or form, right? Because I'm dangerous, right? They have to respect me in some way, shape, or form because I'm very dangerous. So, even though they're not very fond of me, but they do show a small, minute scale of respect towards me, right? Um, sorry about that. The reason why that is, sorry about that. Give me a second. Sorry about that. So yeah, they do show me a minute scale of barely visible amount of respect, because I understand these things. I can play that game like two can play that game, and I will destroy you like physically. So like you have to respect me a little bit, even though we're still enemies, we're still mortal enemies. Like it's I'm just as bad as they are, like. So anyway, but the thing I want to say, where I want to go with this, is like most people don't take a lot of this shit seriously, and they don't think that these things are currently affecting them. These things that they do affect you physically, mentally, and financially, and I can't have that. A lot of people are okay with this notion. Well, I think people are okay with it because they don't understand the magnitude of it. But like I said before, you can destroy somebody's soul with this shit. I can destroy souls. If Cryptara, Lucifer, okay, Satan has great power, but he uses his power with restraint, right? Lucifer is a big restraint kind of guy because he has a tremendous amount of power, but he understands that without restraint, then he's gonna use his power frivolously, and he'll probably destroy things that he's trying to create at the same time. So when you have that much power, when you're a bull in a china shop, right? When you're a bull in the china shop and you really actually want to walk in the china shop, you don't want to just break everything into place. Well, because you're a bull, you're going to have to be careful, right? Because if you want to walk in the china shop, you're going to have to be careful because, you're a bull, right? So there's like restraint and there's, anyway, whatever. Where was I going with this? Where am I? Yeah, whatever. So people, don't really, take a lot of these notions seriously. They don't know the magnitude of how deep this rabbit hole goes when we're talking about being hindered physically, being hindered metaphysically, being hindered financially, being hindered personally, being hindered socially, right? And this is very evil. We're talking about a group that's ready to do all those things to you, right? And they will, without a second thought. If they have to, they will fucking do that shit to you, right? And even if they don't have to, they'll do it just for fun. So we're talking about a very evil group of people. And yeah, on TV, they might look wholesome sometimes, or they might act like they're wholesome, but that's not cool. Because 2 seconds ago, you might be afraid of me, and that's why you're acting all wholesome and shit. But 2 days ago, if I was a bitch, you would have completely fucking destroyed my ass. So I don't fucking care that you're acting wholesome right now. I remember all the times that you tried to fucking kill me. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about your wholesomeness. I'm thinking about all the fucking times you tried to kill me, bruh. You know what I mean? So, and if I was ignorant and stupid and cowardish, the shit that you were doing would have obliterated my essence and my soul. I would have went to hell, and I would be one of those screaming pawns in the lake of fire, right? Disturbed spirit, completely destroyed, obliterated, right? So, I don't. You can't come at me and be like, oh, this and that and this and that. This is very evil shit, and they're doing that to other people. Me, I'm lucky enough to have studied and to have a level head, but a lot of people probably panicked when they were in this shit. There's probably people right now panicking because they're in this shit. And people do panic because not all indigo people are like me. There's a lot of indigo people that are not like me. There's a lot of indigo people that have their hands down. They have their hands down, man. They have their hands down, and they're like, well, the Illuminati, they're bigger than us. They're more than us. I don't give a fuck. Seriously, I don't fucking care. That doesn't bother me, and it shouldn't bother you either, because you're supposed to be a yogi. You're not supposed to be out there. You're supposed to be, as long as you have a room, as long as you can keep learning, as long as you're in a space where you can keep learning, you're going to continue to grow in power. So the fact that there's many of them shouldn't bother you either. But of course, it's normal, like I said, to have a little bit of restraint, because you don't want to cause more destruction that there's already supposed to be, right? So, and like I said, when you have a lot of power, you're like a bull in a china shop. You got to be careful, because if you're not careful, you're going to break some china. And we're not trying to break china. We just so happen to be a bull that likes China. It just so happens, It's a coincidence. It happens. Synchronicity, whatever you want to call it, So yeah, man, when we're talking about actors and things like that, I'm not saying the actors themselves are necessarily dangerous, but you have to understand that a lot of what they're doing is to change people's perception, is to change people's minds. And that's magic. Psychology is magic. Okay? Psychology is psychology transforms into magic when we step into the boundaries of hypnosis. Okay, at the end of the day, a lot of people like sit there and be like, "Oh, psychology sucks. It's not legit." Blah blah. Yeah, but where did y'all remember hypnosis? Isn't that a form of arcane knowledge? Isn't that some form of magic, bro? Hypnosis. That's very occult. That's very esoteric, if you ask me. And psychology did not used to believe. In the late 50s, 60s, psychologists did not believe in hypnosis, right? It was talked about, but it wasn't accepted. Now, if you look today, if you have enough money and you can get a top psychologist, or any psychologist that just knows what he's doing, he's going to use hypnosis on you most of the time. Of course, hypnosis, allegedly, from what I've heard, hypnosis is only kept for severe cases, right? For cases that are more, difficult to deal with, right? But regardless, that's still esoteric. It's still, it's still an esoteric thing to do. It's still a holistic way of healing somebody, right? And psychology is intrinsically connected to hypnosis, because it's all in the mind. You're trying to control the person's mind. You're giving the person suggestions. You're using your sound, tone of voice. You're using artifacts, item, pendulums, and the little thing or the swirly thing, whatever. Strobe light system. There's strobe light hypnosis. There's strobe light hypnosis. There's like kinds of artifacts. So it's It's esoteric. It's very occult. It's very holistic. It's a very holistic thing to do. So you have to understand that, we're dealing with a power at B that is aware of all these things, that understand these things, that uses these things to control the masses. It's the masses that can't get itself to believe that it's actually happening to them. That's the problem, right? The problem is not the knowledge. The problem is that the people don't want to believe in the knowledge. That's the issue, you know. And that's why you have a lot of corruption nowadays. That's why you have a lot of corruption. That's why these people are capable of affecting people's lives this much, because we kind of let them do it in some way, shape, or form, in a ignorant way, ignorant fashion. Where we're letting them do it, right? We're letting them do it. So. And the thing is, you're sitting there, and like I was trying to say, you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh, I'm not important, I'm this, I'm that, and this and that. But at the end of the day, you think the celebrities are on TV, when in actuality, the celebrities are living next door, right? Those are the real celebrities, not the people on TV. The TV is nothing. TV is just to distract you. It's just a distraction, right? But there's real life going on too, while you're being distracted. Right? I'm not judging. I don't really go out much. I'm not judging. I don't really go out much. So, but I study. I might not go out a lot, but I still study. I still read. I still keep up to date. I watch. I test. I look at things. I try things. I experiment also. Because it's not just going out all the time to see everything that's going on. Sometimes you just need to conduct an experiment just to see the validity of what you just saw, or what you just read, or what you just learned. And there's still people, you're still gonna be affected by real life. You're still gonna have to go out. People go to school, they go to work. You can see things sometimes. You might not see the whole picture, because you're stuck in an infinite loop of repetitive things, but which we all are. But but let's say you're unemployed and you're a little bit scrappy. You're gonna see a lot of things. You're gonna see a lot of things. You're gonna see a lot of people. You're gonna know some things, right? And even that is not indicative of you being aware of the cleverness of this devious group of people that are consistently trying to reduce humanity into fucking dust, man. So even that guy doesn't know shit. Nobody really knows shit. And the only way to know something is by being interested in that thing. So it's only people that have a heart for this thing, that have a mind for these things, that are going to be aware of these things. And everybody else have no idea. And, and this is a very, like I said, I can do those things that they do. I can do it too, and I do it, and I use it against them most of the time. But and like that's, and you could use it for other purposes. I could use it for nefarious purposes. I could be really mean, but that's what I was trying to get at too. I don't really do much of those things, and I could do more of those things, but I can't, because Shemyaza, Lucifer, Satan won't let me. Like, I mean, he's not stopping me from doing it. I can do it, but if I do it, I'm gonna get severely punished, because I'm acting like a bull in a china shop, right? And I don't want to get punished. I don't like doing magic and then having to pay for it after I did the magic. I hate that shit. I want to do magic and I just want to do magic. I don't want to, and it's okay to do that. It's okay. I don't really, I mean, it kind of steps on my free will, I feel like, a little bit, I feel like it steps on my free will, to be quite honest, a little bit, but at the same time, it's okay, because you gotta have things that regulate people a little bit. You gotta have some order, because else it'd be complete chaos, right? If anybody, especially if I can teach other people how to do it, and then those people act the same way I'm acting, and then so it'd be pretty bad. It'd be really fucking bad, bro. It'd be like World War fucking 25. You know what I mean? Like, so, give me a second here. So anyway, people tend to think that they're not important all the time, even though that everything is a reflection of themselves, and people think they're not important. So therefore, and I like talking about this, and I like saying it, because at the end of the day, a lot of people do stupid stuff because they think that nobody cares, and most of the time you're right, nobody fucking cares. But is that really the point? Like, because like I said, everything's a mirror. Exactly. Like, you get it, right? You get it. Everything is a mirror. So does it matter if people care or not? Can't. If everything's a mirror, all you have to do is reflect what you want to be, and you're gonna be that thing, no matter, regardless of what people think, right? So it's more important to focus on yourself and less important to focus on other people, because most of the time, people that think that way focus on other people. People that think that they're not important is because they're focused on their neighbors. They're focused on what their neighbor have, or what they don't have. So they don't feel important because everybody else seems to be more important than them, which might not be the case. And everybody's prone to feeling like that. It's not just because the person has a nice car and he has nice clothes that he doesn't have insecurities, right? I'm pretty sure there's some people that have money that would be completely baffled if I told them what I just said in this video in front of their faces. They'd be like, man, you crazy. Ain't nobody care about my motherfucking ass. Yeah, I got money, but everybody got money. You know what I mean? Like, there's some people think like that. There's some people that think like that, and there's some people that don't think like that. So it's a thing about, no pun intended, no offense, man. It's a thing of insecurities. Like, it's not really confidence, because if you got money, it's because you're confident. Right? It has nothing to do with that. It's because what I'm talking about is like high fucking magic. It's like high magic. It's like, it's high magic. So people are not aware of high magic. People don't practice high magic all willy-nilly. You know what I mean? Even the magic that the Illuminati practices, which is Jewish, like some Jewish Kabbalah. The Jewish Kabbalah, not everybody has the opportunity to practice high Kabbalistic magic like that where you need other people to be able to do so you can't. I mean, if you have the money, you could create a city and use geometrical forms in order to align the city to the fucking stars and stuff. Like, yeah, if you had the money, yeah, but most of us don't. So we don't, like, like, so I'm not calling, basically what I'm saying is I'm not calling anybody stupid, barely even ignorant, right? But you have to understand that it's going on, you have to understand that it's happening, you know what I mean? You might not be able to do anything about it, but it's happening. It's not it's for real. They're really doing it, and it's really happening, and it really fucking works. So anyway, this is my thoughts on sounds and metaphysics and all that good stuff. I hope this was educational in some way, shape, or form. I did ramble a lot here. And in the case of technomancy, like I said, I'm gonna make some videos about it. Like I said, the community. I feel like the community is telling me, and that's how we got started. That's how I started rambling. It was talking about ideas, noise, and all that. But I feel like the conscious collective is telling me that they don't know how to do technomancy. I will be doing some videos, but for right now, all I can say is try to build a bridge between you and Cryptara and the cyberspace. Build that bridge. Meditate. Start with meditation. Start meditating on um, meditate. Picture a device, and on this device, and this device is a thing. It's made of technology. All right. So create a device of your choosing. Right. Create a device of your choosing. Um, and basically that device is going to be like your it's gonna be like your AI or something. It's gonna be like your AI or something. So meditate on that and start by doing that. And meditate on Cryptera. Build a bridge between you and Cryptera. Now, okay, fuck the device. Never mind the device. Yeah, because that's too complicated. So never mind the device. Build a bridge between you and Cryptera. All right, use the entity that I use. All right, if you want to get into technomancy and you don't know how, communicate with Cryptera. Try to invoke Cryptera. I don't have a sigil for. Do I have a? No, I don't have a sigil for Cryptera. I'm gonna work on it. Um, but for right now, um, I guess you could find something that signifies Cryptera for you, which would make your meditation, like your focus, meditation, easier. But for right now, I would say, uh, create yourself a mantra that would help you connect with Cryptera, because you're gonna need a prayer. I have a prayer that I'm not ready to release yet. I do have a prayer that I'm not ready to release yet, because a lot of this, the technomancy that I have is extremely potent, extremely powerful, and I don't think I should give this for free, and I will not. But I want you guys to understand that technomancy is actually a very legitimate magical practice, and I'm very excited about it. And I did not know that myself. I just learned that a couple months ago, 2 months ago, not even, barely, not even a month ago. So yeah, my birthday is this week, or did it already pass? I'm not gonna tell you because a lot of people want to throw curses at me. But my birthday is this week, so happy birthday to me. Um, and like I said, I don't know, guys. If you want to learn technomancy from me, we're gonna have to find a way to do that. With There has to be some form of compensation. There has to be some compensation, because I'm not gonna give this information out for free. But I will tell you that I'm probably one of the first actual techno mages in history. Well, maybe not history, but it's that powerful. My technomancy is very strong. It's incredible. So, um, I guess being Lucifer kind of helps too, actually. So, uh, if you want to learn, if you want to go to the school of scalomancy, because when you're with me, you're in the school of the devil, where Dracula learned all of his tricks, and I am the teacher. I'm the principal there. I wish. So I'm the master of scalomancy. I'm the master of scalomancy, and I don't have any. I need some teachers, man. I need some teachers. We need to build this school, bro. Like, we need to build the scalomancy school, man. We need some teachers to come in, bro. Like, we need some teachers, man. I don't know, man. There's some good prospects on my channel that I could use, but they have their own things going. So I don't know, but I don't know, man. Like, we need to do something with this, bruh. Like, seriously, now we need to do something with this. But I need teacher. I can't teach everybody. I mean, yeah, but I got shit to do too. We need more teachers. I need more teachers. I need more teachers that are more specified in a specific field to make my life a little bit easier, man. And we could find I could probably compensate you guys for your time too. So I will give, if anybody wants to teach in the school of scalomancy. Basically, if they want to, the school of scalomancy is a very dark school. It's like a Hogwarts but for demons. no, I'm kidding. It's like Hogwarts, but for sorcerers and warlocks and whatever, right? So for adults, right? And I'm the devil, so I teach very dark arts too, and that's the difference between scalomancy and the coven or whatever, right? Like I said, scalomancy is like where Dracula learned all of his tricks. So and then let's create a school like that. We got technomancy. We have like laws of attraction. We have all kinds of shit, right? We have thought form magic. We have all kinds of stuff, man. Divination and whatnot, and so y'all, I need some teachers because I have a lot of students but no teachers, right? I have a lot of students but no teachers. That has to change. And I will compensate you for your time. If you're willing to do the work, we will be compensated for our time, because this is the high knowledge. This is high knowledge, and probably you have knowledge. You probably have the same kind of high knowledge, but you're just like me. You can't really say shit because nobody's paying you. Let's team up. Let's come together. Let's team up. Let's start something. Let's teach these people. Let's get more students, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that wants to learn these things. Maybe not a lot, but maybe not a lot, but I'm pretty sure we can find some good clients. I'm pretty sure we can find some good students that actually want to go to scalomancy school, right? So I'm pretty sure we can find people that want to learn technomancy and whatnot. Demonology, technomancy, vampirism, lycanthropy, all that good stuff, right? So yeah, man, I'm gonna stop the video there. Like I said, it's not that I don't want to teach you about technomancy. I've been told not to tell too much, not to say too much. I've been told not to say too much. So that's what I'm doing. But if you want to get into it, if you're an amateur, use Cryptera as your guiding light, and make your own sigil. If you need a sigil from Cryptera, make your own sigil. I don't have a sigil for her yet. When I'll have the vision or the inspiration for it, I'll make it official sigil. But you can make your own symbolism, representation, and focus on that and meditate on that. All right. So, see you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Peace out.